Okay, Mr. Abuxia, you're there.
Yes, Your
And
Honor.
Mr. Tarango, yep, you're there on the Van Lent matters.
Yep, and I believe I just saw, I thought Marcus Shamil was around. He's handling his felony matters, Your Honor, so I logged on just to see if you
Oh.
needed any assistance from
Okay.
myself.
The information, I think, Mr. Tarango, when you had talked to Mr. Schmiel, was that he has not had any contact with Zachary Van Lent, and he was wondering if he might be zooming in.
Correct.
For the record, I'll indicate that we've got 4 separate files with Mr. Van Lent, starting with the date of May 8, 2020 at the Sparta gas station, a retail fraud second, 1-year misdemeanor, D20-01297SM. May 17th, about 9 days later, a retail fraud first, 5-year felony that's scheduled for today's probable cause on file D20-02441 That was at the Meyer on Cascade. And then August 14th, so 3 months later, D20-02114 a retail fraud first, 5-year felony, again set for a probable cause today at the Target and D&W on 28th Street and Dick's Sporting Goods. And then lastly, another misdemeanor, September 15th, which would have been about 3 weeks ago, a Family Fair gas station in Cascade on file D20-02417SM. So technically, 2 felony retail fraud firsts set for probable causes today, 2 misdemeanor retail fraud seconds that were set for pretrials. It looks like the preliminary exams on these 2 felony cases is set for next week, and that would be the 16th of October at 9:15 in the morning. So what I'd like you to tell Mr. Schmiel, Mr. Abuxia, is that we'll keep these 2 felonies on for next week for the prelim and find out if anyone has any connection to Zach Van Lent. We have a Jennison address, but I'm not showing that anyone has had contact with him. He's put up bonds on a few of these, so I know he's aware of them. I just don't know if there's an explanation of why he hasn't connected to the...
If I may, and I'm not sure, I, Your Honor, tried to make contact with him via the 72-hour visit, but it appeared that he had bonded out at the time. Although I did see an access inmate information that it appeared there were some holds. Now, I'm not sure those were holds for the previous cases or if those are holds for other agencies. Certainly, if there were other agencies that explain the absence. However, you know, I only have limited information, so I'm not sure if it was another agency that held him or if it was violating the bonds on the previous cases.
Right. Yeah, I don't know either. And I know that the prosecutor's office, at least Mr. Tarango, from one of the last pre-exam conference forms I saw, was if he pled to 1 retail fraud first and 1 retail fraud second, you dismiss the retail fraud first felony. It sounds like keep the SUP 3 restitution on everything, but have him plead to a retail fraud first and a retail fraud second and a retail fraud second. So 2 misdemeanors, 1 felony, the other felony being dismissed.
Correct.
Okay. Well, then just let Mr. Schmiel know if anybody hears from Zach Van Lent, we'll find out what's going on. I'm not going to issue a bench warrant now. I'm simply putting this off till next week's prelim on the 16th. But if you're successful in talking to him or anybody from your office, Mr. Abuxia, we'd like to know, because I don't want to have the prosecutor, I guess, Mr. Tarango, you'll have to have your witnesses on standby, and they can be done by Zoom. All right?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
Okay, yes, go ahead.
Matter, while we have Mr. Abuxia on the line, on that, Mr. Abuxia, on Monday, we have a bond violation?
The defendant's last name was Mortimer. It was a DV case, and he has a formal PV. The defender's office represented him originally, but neither Mr. Tarango or I are sure whether he has an attorney on the formal, but he might not want the formal. I think it's a no contact violation, Mr. Abuxia. And the guy's name is Adam Mortimer, Mortimer.
And you said, Your Honor, I apologize, that we had a previous case with Mr. Mortimer?
Yep, it was a domestic violence that misdemeanor that the defender's office represented him on D20-00968. And that's the very case that he has the probation violation on.
Okay.
So he requested a formal hearing and pled not guilty the last time I spoke to him. So it's set for 8:30 Monday. Honestly, I don't know whether we're going to see him or not, but I think Mr. Tarango is just trying to give your office a heads up if you guys are going to be on it. Technically, I don't know whether you're assigned the PV, but sometimes talking to him would be helpful.
Your Honor, Mondays at 8:30 are regularly scheduled PV days anyway, so I will be available and ready in the courtroom in case he's there.
Perfect. Then we'll just give you time to set up and talk to him if he zooms in or if he contacts us, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for covering for Mr. Schmiel. That was helpful. Thank you, Mr. Tarango. Appreciate your help as always.
Thank you, Your Honor.